Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone. Thank you so much for this time to join with me in this class learning. Don't forget to say thank you Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala that giving our health, and say thank you to my lecturer Miss Ratnawati SPD MPD. On this occasion, I'm here to discuss a little bit about how to teach English language. But before that, I want to apologize to my lecturer because I have no group and I'm not in accordance with what is being instructed. Okay, and for the first material about teacher task, and the second is about teacher skills, and the last one about the teacher's knowledge. And teacher tasks have 3 points. The first, preparation. Effective teachers as well prepared. Part of this preparation reside in the knowledge that they have of their subject and their skill of teaching. But another feature of being well prepared is having a thought in advance of what we are going to do in our lesson. As we walk toward our classroom, in other words, we need to have some idea of what the students are going to achieve the lesson. What should have some learning outcomes in our head. Of course, what happened in our lesson does not always conform to our plan in for it, but students always take comfort from the participation that their teacher has thought about what will be appropriate for their particular class on the particular day. The degree to which we plan our lesson differs from teacher to teacher. It will often depend among the teacher things. And the next, there is a keeping record of teacher tasks. When a teacher find the administrative feature of their job, taking the register, filling form, writing report cards, there is one a particularly good person for keeping a record of what we have taught. It works as a way of looking back at what we have done in order to decide what to do next. And if we keep a record of how well things have gone, we will begin to become a conclusion about what works and what doesn't. It is important for professional teachers to try evaluate how successful an activity has been in terms of student engagement and learning outcomes. If we do this, we will start to amend our teaching practice in the light of experiences, rather than getting stuck in the starly routines. It is one the characteristic of good teachers that they are constantly changing and developing their teaching practice as a result of reflective on their teaching experience. And the next, there is being a reliable. Professional teachers are reliable about things like timekeeping and homework. It is very difficult to berate students for being late for lesson if we get into the habit of turning up late ourselves. It is unsatisfactory to insist on the prompt delivery of homework if it takes us weeks to correct it and give it back. Being reliable, it is simply a matter of following the old idiom of practicing what we preach. And the second material, there is a teacher skill. Teacher skills have 4 points. The first, managing classes. Managing classes, effective teachers see classroom management and spirited aspect of their skills. In other words, whether activity we ask our student to be involved in, or whether they are working with a board, a tape record, or a computer. We will have thought of procedures to make the activity successful. We will know how to put students into groups or when to start and finish an activity. We will have worked out and what kind of instruction to give and what other to do things in. We will have decide whether students should work in groups, in pairs, or whole classes. We will have considered whether we want to move them around the class or move the chair into the different setting patterns successful. Class management also involves being able to prevent disruptive behavior and reacting to into effective when it occurs. And the next, there is a matching tasks and groups. Student will learn more successful if they join the activities they are involved and our interests are stimulated by the topics we bring into the classroom. Of course, in many situations, topics and activities are decreed to some extent by the material in the course book that is being used. But even in such situation, there is a lot that we can do to make sure we cater to the range of needs and interests of the student in our classes. However, what this experience clearly suggests was we need to think careful about matching activity and topics to the different group we teach. Whereas, for example, some groups seems happy to work creatively on their own, others need more help and guidance. Where some students respond well to teach presentations, others are more happy when they investigate language issues on their own. The next, there's a variety. Good teacher vary activities and topics over the period of time. The best activity type will be less motivating the sixth time we ask the student to take part in it than was when they first come across it. Much of the value of activity, in other words, reside in this freshness. But even where we use the some activity type of some revision, it is important to try and ensure that the learners' role are not always the same. If we use a lot of group discussion, for example, we want to be sure that the some student isn't always given the rules of taking notes, rather than actually participating in discussion themselves. When we get some student to read text, we want to always have them work and comprehension question in the same way. Sometimes they might compare answer in pairs. Sometimes they might interview each other about the text. Sometimes they might do all the work on their own. And the last one, there's destination. When we take learning activity into the classroom, we need to persuade our student of their usefulness. Good activities should have some kind of destination or learning outcomes. Students need to have an idea of where they are going and, more importantly, to recognize when they have got there. Of course, some activities such as discussion don't have fixed end. Nevertheless, even in such a circumstance, it will be helpful if you make sure that students leave the class with some tangible result. That is why a summing up or feedback session at the end of discussion, for example, it's so valuable. And the next, there is a teacher knowledge. Teacher knowledge, there is a 3 point. The first is the language system. Language teacher need to know how the language work. This mean having a knowledge of grammar system and understanding lexical system, how words change their shape depending on their grammatical function, and how they group together into phrases. Students have a right to expect the teacher of the English language can explain straightforward grammar concepts, including how and when they are used. They expect their teacher to know the differences between the colloquial language that people use in formal conversation and the more formal language required in more formal setting. They also expect teachers to be able to demonstrate and help them to pronounce words correctly and with appropriate intonation. And the next, there is a material and resources of teacher knowledge. When students ask the kind of complicated question mentioned in above, good teacher know where to find the answer. We need, in other words, to know about books and websites where such technical information is available. No one expects teacher to be all-knowing in this respect. What college and student can expect, however, is that teacher know where to find at least one good references grammar at the appropriate level. If the teacher are using course books, students expect them Of course, to know how the material works, their confidence will be greatly enhanced if they can see that the teacher has looked at the material they are using before the lesson and has worked out a way of dealing with it. And the last one, there is a classroom equipment. Over the last few decades, the growth in different type of classroom equipment has been incredible. Once upon a time, we only had pens, board, and chalk to work with, but along came the recorder, the language laboratory, video machine, the overhead projector, computers, data projector, and interactive whiteboards. Some teachers are more comfortable with these various pieces of educational technology than others. This is will always be the case. There is no reason why everyone should be equally proficient at everything. As a teacher, we need to do everything we can to keep abreast of technological change in educational resources, but we should never let technology drive our decision about teaching and learning. We should instead decide what our learners want to achieve and only then see what kind of technique and technology will help them to do this. And the last one, there is keeping up to date for teacher knowledge. Teachers need to know how to use a variety of activities in the classroom, of course, but they also need to be constantly finding out about new ways or of doing things. A good way of learning about news, about new activity and technique is to read the various teachers magazine and journal that are available. There is now a wealth of information about teaching on the internet. Magazine, books, and websites often contain good descriptions of new activities and how to use them. We can also learn a lot from attending seminars and teachers conferences and listening to other teachers describing new activity and the successful they have had with them. Okay, maybe that's all from me. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.